Okay, I think we are here live on Facebook. Just anyone editing this podcast, please cut this out of the recording. And I am going to get shared over to the group because this is so amazing and so powerful. And I need to make sure my amazing, authentic conversion group members hear this as well. Okay, so let's dive in. I am just elated and thrilled and beyond proud of my client here, Wendy Massey, who has truly blown my mind, and I think probably blown her own mind, in what she has created from May 2021 to September 2021. And anyone who listens to the podcast regularly knows I don't do a ton of guests and things like that on this show. It's not really what I developed it for. But Wendy and I were just chatting back and forth in Messenger the other day, and she just graduated from my program, just joined my mastermind. And I was like, this story is way too good not to tell all the details of. So I am so excited for you to hear what she is going to share today. And I was saying to her, like, it just gives me chills and it makes me emotional to talk about, because when I have conversations with people like Wendy and like what she's been able to accomplish, my soul's purpose, why I am on this earth, is to have the audacity to believe that everything is possible and to instill that in others. And Wendy, you are just like the epitome. You are the representation of my own purpose coming to life. And now you get to fulfill yours. And it's so amazing. And I'm going to stop talking and welcome. Thank you for being here with us today, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I'm thrilled to be here with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's take it back to what was it? It was like maybe April or so when we first got in touch. Tell us a little bit just about you and your life and your history and anything that you would like to share.
Sure. So I am a 20-year registered nurse. I became very interested in wanting to have my own wellness business 10 years ago when my son got really sick. And I have a whole story on that I will not go into right now. But basically, 10 years ago, that started my foundation of just this whole healthy journey I was on. And I was so excited about what I was learning that I just wanted to share it with the world. And so I always said, okay, this is my purpose. One day I will be able to put nursing aside and focus on just prevention and teaching people how to live healthier lives. And through nutrition is my primary focus. Mm-hmm. And I finally felt like in January, it was time. I was ready to realize that whole goal. And I started working with clients in January, and I had a very low dollar offer and 3-week program. And my best month was just over $2,000. And I started becoming very discouraged because I thought, well, I would literally have to have like 100 clients a month to be able to retire. And I just didn't see how that was ever possible. And so lo and behold, you showed up one day in my newsfeed.
I love it.
I don't remember specifically what the ad was or what you said or what it was. I think, to be honest with you, it was something about all the gross DMs you get and all the people that aren't, that are sending the hey girl messages and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been hounded by these people. And you were just speaking my language, and you had one of your 4-day conversion events. Mm-hmm. So I joined that and learned so much in 4 days and really believed in the organic marketing, because I'm not a pushy sales girl. I can't be. How to be. And so that just started everything. And And then I started having conversations with you and was scared to death to spend money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so even before that, like, because you had mentioned you wanted to retire yourself from nursing by the time you were 50. So you had like 3 years to do that. So was the goal even back in January to retire by like 2024 or, so that's what you were thinking. Okay, perfect. So yeah, and I remember when we first started chatting and we were kind of going back and forth, and I was just like, listening to your words. I was feeling your energy, but you were a no. You were like, I can't, like, I think you, it was a not right now. It was just like, I can't right now. So maybe when you were, because you were like on the precipice, right, of this, now what you know is this incredible breakthrough, but kind of what was going through your head when you were at that really important, decisive moment for your life and for your business?
Well, it was one of those things where I finally had to believe in the process enough, believe in you, believe in me, believe in the whole situation, that that uh, that investment was worth it, and that without it, I was going to go no further than I was. And that's just what I had to come to, that it was more, I had to switch my mindset to, I couldn't afford not to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was interesting because I remember, it was a no, not right now. And I'm not a pushy salesperson either. And, I definitely like to fight for people, right, and their dreams. So I always challenge people, but I'm not going to like go chase you down. Right. And then it was funny because it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, you came back and you were like, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was that what happened in your brain? You were like, I got to do this. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I kept following you and I started listening to your podcast. And I think one of the last messages I said to you before I said I was in, I was like, okay, I just drove home from Nashville and I totally binge listened to all of your podcasts. And this is it. I'm doing this. So
So good. And this is what I really want everyone listening to hear is kind of, your background being that you were a full-time nurse, you are a mom, you're a wife, you are an active member at your church. Like you play a lot of roles in your life and in other people's lives. You also have a successful network marketing business. So, it's not like you were just hanging out waiting for something to do. You had a lot going on. And I just want for people to really hear and to recognize that, because I think so many people, when it comes to instilling this audacity to believe in others, they allow life circumstances to dictate what they believe is possible for themselves and what isn't. And they tell themselves all these stories. And you kind of shared, you went through a little bit of that. And then you just made a powerful decision that what you wanted was more important than any of those, fears or stories. And it's so powerful. And one thing I love that we've talked about and that you have gone through these past 4 months or so is really starting to see what's possible in the world of online business. And I really want people to hear that as well. So you started my May marketing intensive. So we started around the middle of May. Tell everyone kind of like what you were thinking, what your goals were for the remainder of this year when you first got started.
Sure, sure. I initially put on my goal spreadsheet that I was really hoping to hit by the end of the marketing intensive $10,000 a month, and by December to hit $20,000 a month. That was my financial goal. And my biggest thing was, if I hit $10,000 a month, then I know that at least bills are getting paid. I can consider the nursing thing, that kind of, all of that could make a big difference. By the time I got to, I don't know if you want me to jump this far ahead or not.
Whatever you want to share.
Got to week 3. I remember we started, I want to say it was May 18th.
Yeah, it was right in the middle of the month. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The time we got to week 3, which is right at the beginning of June, week 3 into week 4, and I was launching my signature program that I had done within the marketing intensive. By the time I was paying you monthly, by the time before my second payment, I had already more than covered the cost of the entire program. And that alone was massive to me. It was just,
Mm-hmm.
okay, investment realized.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ended up within my first couple of weeks of my launch hitting $19,000. And I just
Mm-hmm.
never imagined that. And now at this point, I just broke 50,000 for the full, period of the marketing intensive. And I would have laughed hysterically if you would have told me that that's where I was going to be by the end of the 16 weeks.
So amazing. So amazing. And again, for everyone, you did this while for full-time nursing. Yeah.
Yes, I won't say extreme part-time. I hear that and it sounds like I didn't put much effort into it. Not true. I had a lot of sleepless nights. I had a lot of work I was pouring into it, but it still was all happening while I was a very, very busy human and and definitely working a full-time job.
Yeah. And would you say that the nursing was taking more of your time than your business?
Yes. And or at least equal, because
Okay.
there finally felt like I was, well, no, it's hard to say. It just depended
Mhm.
on the and
Right.
what I,
Week to week can vary. Yep. Totally. Totally.
but I will say that my final big push for my big life change was I finally realized actually I ended up home with COVID and wasn't that sick from it, but still I was home and so then therefore quarantined from working for 2 weeks and I was able to pour more into my
Hmm.
I did so much better during that 2 weeks while I was homesick. And that was the big light bulb. And I said, nursing is getting in my way of my success, which
Hmm.
is huge. I never thought it would happen that fast. I thought that was something I'd be thinking about, like we said, when I was 50, in year 2024, not by the end of this first program. And that's exactly where I was. And I typed up a little email to my boss and I said, I'm officially giving you my 90 days, which is now shortened. It's not even 90 days anymore. So,
I know, because you're done at the end of this month, right? At the end of September. Oh my gosh, so exciting. So exciting. And I've had a lot of clients, actually, it's so interesting. I think I said this to you as well, where they are either having, a full-time job or some other type of job, or maybe they are like one of my clients. It took me forever to convince her to stop training people in the gym because you end up in that job or in that other position actually costing yourself money.
yeah.
So if you look at the earning potential of having those hours back from your job to put into your business, it's just amazing. So tell us, actually, I feel like this is such a good example of that. Tell us what happened on Monday.
Yes, yes. That. So I officially went part-time last week for the remainder of
Mhm.
for the end of the month. And they ended up not needing me this week because they had to fill all their full-time people first, which was perfectly fine with me. So Monday I go and I've got my hair done and I went and I walked around the park and I did a 5-minute live video. And that 5-minute live video turned into $3,500 plus that day because
Mhm.
I just was talking about an anti-inflammatory detox that I've been working on and the results for me. And in 5 minutes, that's all I did. And my phone started ringing off the hook. They were coming to me. They were like, I need to talk to you about this. I need to do this. And I ended up with 4 unplanned sales calls that day, plus another one that was already scheduled. And that day, 2 people converted and another one has since then. So
So amazing. Like, it was what I was saying to you in DM. I was like, what world do we live in? And I was saying, because, Wendy and I are both of the age where we remember a time without social media and, without Facebook Live and without even cell phones or text messaging, right? So it's like, it's so mind blowing to me. And I have so much appreciation for this because I can remember all the way back to the time that I was 23 and I wanted freedom and I wanted to be able to work from anywhere and I wanted to be on my own schedule. And those opportunities at that time, 2004 or 5, were not even like available to any of us. And it's just so incredible what you've been able to do using these really powerful free platforms. It's just like 5-minute video turns into $3,500. And I'm sure the video was actually fun for you to do. It's not like you really planned it out. You just took a walk and you're like, I brushed my hair today. That's usually when I do videos. And here we are. It's just so amazing. So one of the things that I want to maybe get your insight on is just something that you said that you might not have realized. But I think one of the things that I consistently hear from my clients being a differentiator for them versus past experiences that they've had, whether following other business coaching programs or even just like trying to build their business or whatever, is that clients came to you, right? Have you ever, for 50K in 16 weeks, and we're building on that now, have you ever chased anyone to buy your program?
No, not at all. And that has been the coolest and most exciting thing, because I'm steady still getting hey girl messages from other people. And I'm like, oh, do that. And
yeah.
if you are authentic and you are posting and you're showing people the real you, and there's plenty of times I just go live, cooking my supper with my hair up in a ponytail and looking like a hot mess, but just talking about exactly what I'm doing and how this is so healthy. And people come to me, you need to teach me how to do this. You need to do that. And I don't chase a soul.
Yeah, they are literally like, Wendy, help me. And lots of them too. It's fun because we just did, because you obviously just joined my mastermind this week. So right before we decided to record this podcast, we were doing her onboarding call where we were kind of like mapping out game plan, talking about her goals over the next year. And just, you've got these really big goals of, $30,000-$40,000 months. And I'm like, you're going to be at 30 before the end of this year. It's so crazy, right? When you kind of break down the math and all the opportunity that you still have left. And I just want people to hear, because not everyone who comes into any coaching program or not anyone who starts a business is going to get these types of results, right? That's just a fact. You might have heard me talk about my 5% rule, where I really believe out of 100% of coaches, only 5% will do what it takes to create the success that they say they desire. And you are, without saying it in a straightforward way, you are demonstrating a lot of those 5% characteristics, right? So first, what I hear from you is you did not let any stories, well, for like 2 weeks, but then you didn't allow like stories and life circumstances to dictate what you believed was possible for you, right? Most coaches, 95% are going to be like, oh, I can't right now because I can't afford it, or I can't right now because I have a full-time job, or I can't right now because my spouse isn't on board, or whatever, right? It's just something that puts you instantly into that 5%. I would say also the follow through, right? You actually did the work. And sad to say, and I think probably any coaches even listening to this know this from their own clients as well, a lot of people just aren't willing to do what it takes to be successful. And to me, it's so crazy, right? To be like, looking at what you're doing. And, I teach lots of different strategies, but what you're doing is mostly online, and you're showing up every day. And literally just showing up every single day is too much for most people. It's like what 95% of people are not willing to do. And then the other thing that I was saying to you earlier as well, before we even started recording, is that one of the reasons I think you've been so successful is that you are so relatable, right? It's like, you're a busy mom, you're a busy wife, you have a career, and you take care of your health, and you show up as you are. It's funny too, because I've had so many people tell me over the years, I love that you like never have your hair and makeup done. And I just love that you show up no matter what, or that you do a live right when you're out of the gym. And that's like what you were talking about as well. You're just so relatable. You're so consistent. And I mean, I think those are just some of the things that have gotten you to where you are. But when I kind of articulate it that way, it's crazy to me that not more people are having these types of results in their coaching businesses, because it's these very simple things that ultimately add up to this huge result. I don't know. It was kind of random, but are you resonating with that a little bit?
I mean, today was a prime example. I have this big to-do list I have laid on myself, because that's how I am. And the very first thing I realized is, you know what, Facebook world, what are they going to hear from me today? Mm-hmm. And I up this whole big thing about label reading. And I should have had it pre-planned. I didn't, but I'm going to show up. I'm going to be there. I'm going to provide something of value to people. And it's so funny because I used to have the attitude that, oh, they won't even notice if I'm not there, or they won't care, and it wasn't like a self-esteem thing. It's just like, Facebook's a big world, but now I'm very much of the mindset that, you know what, they need to hear this. They need my presence. And it's not to be all puffed up either, but it's just like, if I don't show up, then, do you want to just fall off their radar? You don't. You want to provide value. You want to give them, and again, not being salesy. That's the biggest thing, is just providing value to your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. The commitment to showing up, the commitment to value, the commitment to service, those are huge differentiators between the 5% and the 95%. I'm curious, hopefully this isn't like a confusing question, but I'm curious just in terms of some of the biggest internal shifts that you've experienced, let's say in the last couple of months, whether it's in your belief system of what's possible or just any of those internal pivots, what have you felt or noticed as the biggest changes for you personally?
I would say definitely belief in myself. I've never had a lack of believing I could accomplish what I put my mind to, but I think I didn't believe, I didn't have my mind set as big as is possible, if that makes sense. So, it's like when I decided when my kids were in middle school, oh, great idea, let me go to nursing school. I believed I could do it. I believed I could pass my nursing boards. I believed I could get the job I wanted, but it was never, oh, sure, I could have a $500,000 home business and be on my own schedule. Are you kidding me? I would. And now I really believe that in the next year, that's where I'll be sitting, and, or at least approaching it, at least well on my way. And it's just, and the biggest thing to me is it is, I could talk all day long about money because that's the biggest shocker to me right now. But the reality is how many people I'm serving, how many helping, how many people whose lives are changing because my message is getting out there. And that's huge. And I never envisioned that, other than my once, 1,000-person Facebook world that I would change their lives. Now I'm up at almost 4,000. Thank you, Nicole. Going to constantly add people. But I've grown exponentially, and I have a lot of people that I have no clue who they are stopping me in the grocery store.
Oh my gosh, so cool.
We're big music people, and people that come up to me at concerts and hug me, and I'm like, I don't know this person, but it's because I'm making that impact, and that's huge. That's something that I never dreamed. So kind of went off topic and excited.
No, it's totally relevant. And actually, I'd love for you to touch on, because we were talking about this again before we started recording, just your shift in kind of your money mindset, value, worthiness pieces. Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Sure. I felt like once upon a time I was successful if I could just get my bills paid. That was success to me. Now like I told you, I look forward to purchasing an RV and spending all summer going around visiting places in the country that, we've never been able to do. It's just, instead of these being dreams of, when I'm 70 and retired, it's dreams of next summer,
Yeah.
It's dreams of things that are in my mind now, not, oh, it would be nice if, it's, oh, I can't wait till that happens, and it's mind shift now.
Yeah, so it's no longer a dream. It is actually a reality. Like you're living this. And we were also talking about how, you were selling these really like low cost, like $99 programs and stuff. And when I had you create your signature offer, or maybe it was like when you heard me talk about it for the first time, you were like, no one would do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and a lot of it is because the mindset about money. I don't know that I would have spent what I charge on a program because of how tight with money I've always been my whole life. So when, I had my $99 program, oh my goodness, when I first rolled that out, I almost felt like I was apologizing for, as a matter of fact, my very first rollout at the first of the year was $79 as a New Year's special and for a 3-week program. And so when I start hearing from you that there will be none under $1,000, and I'm like, never gonna happen. People aren't gonna just hand me that money. And now mine's $1,749 if they pay in full. It's more if they're doing, payments. And they're okay, sure, let me sign up. And it's just, but the biggest thing, and this is what we were talking about, is that when I was charging $99, I was getting nowhere near the results. I
Mm-hmm.
full of good ones that were really on board, but there was no, it didn't hurt them enough. I hate to use the word hurt, but it wasn't enough of an
Skin
investment.
in the game.
Exactly. There
Yeah.
wasn't exactly. Whereas now it's more like there's a couple that are disappointing because they're not engaged, but the majority of the group is getting massive results. Well, that in not only is that awesome because I want them to get massive results, but then talk about the explosion from that when you have all of these great stories to share, all
Mm-hmm.
wonderful testimonials because your program really works because there is skin in the game and they are putting forth the effort and doing the work.
Absolutely. And it's just such a great reflection of, it highlights how important the work coaches are doing and how painful those problems that we are solving really are for people, right? You didn't believe anyone would pay you almost $2,000 for a program. And now it's like, you actually just raised your prices recently. And we're talking about, when that's going to happen again, because you are the impact that you're having is truly life transforming. It's one of the most valuable things that you can give to people. And because you're owning the value of that and your worth and the worth of the transformation, not only do you have this great life and you make more money, but your clients are actually being also more successful as a result. And it is just so magical. So, oh my gosh, it's so, so, so good. I really want everyone who fills their minds with fear and doubt over anything that we've talked about today to maybe listen to this again because like literally you are such a great example that everything is possible. So I'm just thinking in closing, if you have any thoughts, words of wisdom, anything that you might say to someone who is either at the beginning or maybe even like where you were in January of this year, just like almost even talking to Wendy from a year ago.
I would definitely say, yes, you do have time. Yes, you do have the money to do this. If you believe in yourself and if you stop telling yourself the lies. And I say that because those were my two biggest things that I kept telling myself. There's no way I have enough time to dedicate. There's no way that I have enough money to have a mentor to pour into my business. But you can't afford not to, and you can't afford not to spend the time that you need to get this launched. I am almost at the point where I will be working less and not just I mean like less than my just one full-time job and making exponentially, more income because I will finally have everything, all my processes rolling. I certainly will have more things I'm working on, but the time just, if you invest the time and if you invest the money now, it will be worth it in the end.
So amazing. And we were also talking about like your daughter's working for you and just so cool to be able to give opportunity to others like that. So I am just in awe of you, Wendy. I was telling her that her results were so much better than the first 4 months of my own business. And I love when my clients totally bulldoze me. It's so great. And I just want you to know I am in total awe and admiration of you and grateful that you chose me to be on the path. And I just know because of what you have committed to, lives are going to continue to be changed. And that includes yours. So thank you, Wendy. I'm so appreciative of you. I'm so excited to keep working together. And I can't wait to see what you create from here.
Ma'am, thank you.
Thank you.